Hi there and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share a recipe for some gluten-free crispy rice squares. The original recipe that I've used for this actually came from my grandma's little cookbook that she had. This is a collection of recipes that the church that she went to years and years ago, where my mum and dad actually got married. I think my grandma and granddad probably got married as well there, and they attended. So it's lovely because the recipe's sort of given by different people that went to the church, and some of them are grandma's friends, and they were that close a friend that I referred to them as aunties, so it's lovely to see their name in there as well. The only change from the original recipe that I've needed to make it gluten-free is to go with some gluten-free rice pops. So instead of obviously like Rice Krispies or anything like that which contain gluten, I've gone for something that's completely gluten-free and says so on the box. I've gone for the Go-Free, well the Nestle Go-Free rice pops, and they're great. So that's the only thing I've needed to change to make it gluten-free. The other ingredients are naturally gluten-free, so that's great. There's no bacon involved with this, so it's just a perfect, easy thing to pop together. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to decorate them a little bit. Sometimes I just put like drizzled chocolate over the top. Sometimes I spread melted chocolate across the whole lot. But today I thought I'll put a bit of chocolate over the top and put some mini eggs on there, make them a bit Easter themed, just to sort of offer up a few suggestions that you might like to use over the Easter break. So I'll drop the camera down now and I'll just show you how quick and easy these are to pop together. Okay, so firstly I'm just going to prepare a tin. So I'm just going to use butter. I'm using my butter pot from the fridge, so that's okay. So just lightly butter it. And so just this for ease of getting it out afterwards, that's the thing, and also to stick the paper in place. So it doesn't have to be super neat, this, because it'll be fine, but what I tend to do is just snip the corners, just allow it to sit in a bit better. There. Okay, so that's the tin prepared there. So into the pan there, I'm going to put some butter. Now I'll put the full recipe over on the blog. Well, sorry, the recipe is over on the blog already, but I'll put a link below so it'll take you over for that. So I'm just going to put some butter in there, and that's just cubed butter out the fridge. You don't want to use like that because that's too soft. It has got to be a block butter that you use for this. So just put that in there, and then I'm just going to add some toffees, and the toffees that I'm using today are Marks and Spencer's Double Devon toffees, which I've just unwrapped. They're all gluten-free and they're really nice as well. So I've used those. Okay, so I'm just going to put those in, and then to that I'm just going to add marshmallows. And most of the time, again, marshmallows are gluten-free, but you just need to always check on the pack. And the ones I'm using today are from Marks and Spencer's again, and they're those ones. But any marshmallows will be fine as long as they don't have any gluten-containing ingredients or may contain on there. Okay, so that's everything in the pan. I'm just going to put this on to a low heat now and let this slowly melt, because I don't want, obviously, the butter burning and the toffees catching. Okay, so you will find that this will go through certain stages as it slowly melts, and it'll look like it won't all come together. It'll look like it might be like a little bit split, but it will all eventually come together. As all the ingredients melt, they will all blend in. Just keep stirring it, and as I say, just keep it on a low heat just so it doesn't catch, and then it's absolutely fine. It goes a wonderful colour with the pink marshmallows being in there. I'm just using a silicone spatula and I'm finding that's doing the best job for this. Okay, so when it's completely melted and it's like that, it's just like toffee really, then we just need to add the crispy rice. So just take it off the heat. Okay, so just stir the crispy rice in there. You will find this is a bit like, it is a real sticky mixture. this spatula is actually perfect for it because it gets right in the corners, so I'm not missing any bit of the toffee in the corners, so it's ideal. And just keep turning it just so it gets coated with all the toffee coating there. I don't wasting any of it because it's so nice. Okay, you will need a really big pan. Mine's only just big enough, I think. There we go. And that's it then. Okay, and when it gets to that stage where all the toffee's all mixed in with it, you're just going to transfer it into the tin. Okay, so just transfer it in there. And then we just going to ease it into the corners and then just press it down. It does look like it's a lot when it first goes in, but it will press down because you want it quite compact. I'm pleased with this spatula. It was a new addition I got from Sainsbury's of the week, and it's really good. There we go. So just press that down, and then what we just need to do is leave that to completely cool and set. It's fully set now because I've actually had to leave it overnight because after I've made it yesterday, I was struggling then to fit in filming the rest of it, so I'm back on another day. So I just left it in a cool place, covered it, left in a cool place, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm just going to cut this up now. It's entirely up to you. As I say, I'll just show you then how easy that lifted out then. So that, as I say, by putting it in with the greaseproof, you literally just lift it out like that. So that makes it really, really easy. So as I say, it's up to you how you want to portion it up. I'm going to do a few different sizes, I think. I mean, normally I just go into squares. As I say, you can just cover the whole lot with chocolate, melted chocolate if you wanted. But because I'm going to do a bit of Easter themed, just a few ideas really, I'm going to cut it up into a few small squares, some normal ones, and maybe a couple of fingers as well. I think that's the plan. Okay, so these are the ones I'm going to cut up into fingers. As I say, you can squiggle the whole lot top, so you could melt chocolate and then get pop the melted chocolate into a piping bag and squiggle all over. That's what I actually have on the blog, on the recipe on the blog. But as I say, this, I just thought if I could do this and give a few different ideas, that might be helpful as well. So these I'm going to do into fingers. Not got the exact right shape board here, but it'll do the job. Okay, probably by going half, I might think it would be better to portion it out better. Okay, so they're the big ones. And then we'll do some little squares, because I thought the little squares might be quite nice just to pop one, like a little bit of chocolate and one single egg on top. Maybe as a little after dinner treat. Okay. This is all a bit ad hoc, because it's what's in my head, but what's in my head doesn't always transport. So pop that on there for now. You can see how solid that is as well, which is just great. Okay, so yeah, so I think I'm going to go little tiny squares. As I say, as an after dinner treat, that will just be perfect. And then these I'm going to do into the squares. So definitely didn't really use the right size board, but I'm winging it a bit here. I have to say, pop them down there for now, I think, make a bit more room. Okay, so probably recommend you getting a sturdier base than me when chopping it up, especially with a big sharp knife like this. Okay. So you can see how solid it goes. throughout. These are really, really nice, and they're proper traditional to how I used to have them. So the only difference is the fact that they've got gluten-free crispy rice instead. Okay, so that's everything cut up. That's all the bits I'm going to decorate in a moment. And then I'm just going to melt some chocolate. With the chocolate, you can choose whether you go for plain chocolate, milk chocolate. On the blog, you'll see the picture on there is of melted white chocolate scribbled over the top, and I use Milky Bar buttons for that because it just melts really quickly. But today I'm going to use some Cadbury's buttons. You can, if you melt too much chocolate, it's not a problem. On the recipe on the blog, I say for enough for squiggling over the top, but I always think melt more than you need rather than less, because you can always either, my mum used to always, any spare chocolate, spread it on a few biscuits, and then that used it up that way. But you could also, I've also got a little mould, so I think I might use this. It'll need a rinse before I use it. I've just got out the cupboard, the drawer there. But I think I might, if I've got any spare chocolate, fill my mould with the spare chocolate, and that's a good way of using them up then as well. So yeah, so in the pan, I'm just going to grab the kettle and pour some boiled water in there. It just speeds up the process when you pop it on the stove, adding boiled water. So, and you want just enough at the bottom, so you don't basically, when you sit the bowl in, you don't want the bowl touching the water. And I'm just going to tip that in. Okay, so I've got loads of chocolate there, and I'm just going to melt that now on a gentle heat until it's fully melted. Okay, so chocolate's nicely melted now, that's just perfect. And with it being buttons, they melt down really, really quickly. I forgot to mention, of course, when you use chocolate, you just need to double check that what you're using is gluten-free. If, like me, you need to follow a gluten-free diet. Cadbury's buttons are currently gluten-free, but it's always, you know, right to check the packs, because things can change, and suddenly, you know, where they make them can change, and then they're no longer suitable, so just keep checking on that. And currently also the Milky Bar buttons that I mentioned before, they're currently gluten-free as well, with no may contain warnings. Okay, so I'm just going to start decorating a few things up to show you, just to give you a few ideas. Okay, so we'll go with the little ones first. Okay, find the top of it. Bit of an odd shape. I don't know how I ended up with that, but there we go. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to put on these. So I just think it'd be really nice if you're doing sort of a little family gathering to have these with a coffee after, you know, after dinner. So I just think these would be perfect. And a perfect little treat. So if you're quite full, you'll probably just be able to squeeze in one of these. So I'm using mini eggs today. I absolutely love mini eggs. My mum used to always buy a tube for me and my brother every Easter. So whenever I have them, they always make me think about my mum, which is just lovely. The mini eggs are currently gluten-free with no may contain warning. Same thing as I mentioned about the chocolate, just always need to double check with all things really, because as I say, anything can change. So I'm just going to pop an egg on top of each one. That's a proper wonky one, that one. So I have ideas in my head of how I think things will look, and I'm quite happy with those. That's great. So they're the little squares. Can you see? Like that. Okay, so for the fingers, what I thought about doing, actually, I'm going to do these ones first, because the fingers I am going to do squiggling and I'm going to end up with a bit of a mess, so I'd rather not do it on this plate. So So these, because they're a little bit bigger, I thought about maybe a little bit more chocolate in the middle. So a bit more of a generous spoonful, and swirl it out a bit, not swirl it out, swirl it out a bit. Like that. You could go right over if you want. It's actually my favourite way to have chocolate, where it's melted and then it sets again. I don't know what it is about it, but I love it when it's like that. Okay, made a bit of a mess on that one. And I've got one more as well there. See if I can squeeze that on without messing things up. So this is just a few ideas. You do whatever you want with it. Got a real thing about 3 eggs together. I don't know what it is. There we go. So those are those so far. And now I'm just going to swiggle over the finger. Get myself organised here. So I'll leave them on the board because I will make a bit more mess with these. Okay. So the piping bags I'm going to use, they actually come in a roll like that, and they're disposable ones. I get them from Amazon, and I will put an affiliate link below should you want to get any. So I'll bob that below in the description for the bags, because I find them really handy to have. And also, I forgot to mention there as well, I'll use that bit of chocolate up afterwards. With the bags, if you pop them in a mug or a jug like that, it just makes it easier when you're filling them, and a little bit less messy. Because if you're like me and you're getting a pickle with things like melted chocolate, it's definitely the way to go to use the mug. And then all you need to do is just snip the end. Being aware that as soon as you snip the end, it will come out. And then let me just pull this back, and then I'm just going to squiggle over the top of there. And go as thin or thick as you want with the hole you cut. I've gone a bit thicker than what I intended, but it's still okay. Bit of a messy one. Okay, and my intention was just to stick the random little eggs going along. Hoping I'm going to have the right colours to go, but it might not happen that way, but we'll see. Obviously just want to get the eggs sat on a bit of chocolate just so they'll stick. So I suppose being quite thick, it's worked out all right. Pop that one there. Okay, so that's those then. So it's just a little selection, I say, with them squiggled, blobs on chop, and then those were just a single ones. But I think just a single one like that, I say, would just be a perfect little treat for after dinner. Okay, so that's my gluten-free crispy rice squares with an Easter twist. I do hope that you like the recipe, and I hope it's inspired you to want to make some. If you have any questions, then please do drop them to me in the comments below, or you can always pop an email through and I'll get back to you as well. Thanks as always for watching the video today. I'll be back again sharing another one with you really soon. If you like what I share, then I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. That just encourages me to keep going, so I would love you to be able to do that. So I'll say bye for now, and again, look forward to seeing you soon. Bye now.